Do not adjust your digital device. What you are about to see and hear may shock and appall you. Join our hosts as they encounter countless thrills, spills, chills, and hilarity as they explore the very weirdest in pop culture. The following media is so strange, so beyond the scope of what is normal, it will make you ask the question, why does this exist? Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Why Does This Exist? I'm Chris.
And I'm Rob.
And today we are going to be talking about the Adult Swim cartoon. I guess you could say the granddaddy of Adult Swim cartoons. It was a cartoon before on Adult Swim, before Adult Swim was Adult Swim, before the adults swam. We had Aqua Teen Hunger Force. Which if you haven't seen the show, then, well, I'm sorry. But also, it's probably for the best that you haven't seen this show. The show is friggin' hilarious. You should definitely check it out. If you listen to our program, you probably have. It's more than likely that you have. If you've ever smoked something or inhaled something that may or may not be illegal in whatever part of the world you're in college or high school, you've probably watched this at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
But before we get into that, let's just run the gamut on our quick little spiel. We are Why Does This Exist? We are a podcast that talks about the very weirdest in pop culture, whether it's a TV show like we're about to do, a strange movie music amalgamation that we've done a few weeks ago when we did Dark Side of the Rainbow, a video game about someone that is half robot, half bomb, but oh man, like last week when we talked about Bomberman, or anything else of that nature that's very bizarre. Whatever it is, we're going to talk about it, or we will talk about it eventually. We talk about the past, the present, and things that have yet to be. And no, I'm not talking about a spirit that's going to come from hell, and it's going to tell you that you need to be a good person in order to not wind up in hell. That's a totally different thing altogether. And, well, I hate to say it, but if something like that is visiting you at night, you've got bigger problems. You can support our show in a number of ways. You can head on over to Patreon. That's patreon.com/whydoesthisexist. You can give us as little as $1 and we will let you into our Discord server where we'll happily let you see what the program plans are for the next several months as we keep going. And if you want to give us as much as $10,000, we'll be forced to review the Lulu album, which was a collaboration between Lou Reed and Metallica that we do absolutely not ever want to touch or listen to with our terrible, awful human ears. That we would much rather listen to nails screeching on a chalkboard. But if you give us that kind of money, we have no choice. You can also support us on social media by finding us on Twitter. That's twitter.com/WDTEpod. Or you can like us on Facebook. That's facebook.com/whydoesthisexistpod. Or you can email us and give us a tip-off and say, hey, I heard about this thing.
You think someone's been tipped off?
I think everyone's getting tipped off left and right. With all these things on January 6th and everything else is going on, some heads are rolling, baby. You can do that at you can't get heads to roll, but you can give us a tip-off of something weird in pop culture that you may or may not want us to talk about at whydoesthisexistshow@gmail.com. And hell, if you want our horrible advice, just send us a question. You could also like, subscribe, and comment on our YouTube channel. That's Why Does This Exist? You listen to some episodes on there. We've also got some clips here and there. We're always trying to do something. And you can also listen to our show, or you could just check out some bonus material at whydoesthisexistpod.com. We've got articles that are popping up every now and then from our guy Tony, who showed up on the Ween episode and the Vince McMahon Scandalmania episode from a few weeks ago. He's pretty good.
Yes.
You can also find us wherever you get your podcast. Tell your friends, tell your families, find something to do. And just check us out. We'll be on in the background. You can laugh, you can cry, you can wonder why you're even doing this in the first place. But that's the news. Here's the weather. You are now about to witness the strength of street knowledge from a ragtag group of rogues. Let's get on with the goddamn show.
Aqua Teen Hunger Force.
The teens of Aqua. With a force of hunger.
The Aqua Teen Hunger Force was one of Adult Swim's pilot shows, basically. It was like one of the first shows, I believe on the first run of Adult Swim, it was like one of the first shows. It was actually a spin-off of Space Ghost Coast to Coast.
It had actually started before Adult Swim happened at all.
Yeah. I wasn't aware that it was actually part of Space Ghost Coast to Coast. There was an episode of that show called Baffler Meal, where apparently they were corporate mascots for a fast food chain, and the prototypes of the three main characters, Meatwad, Master Shake, and Frylock, look pretty different than what we know as the three of them today.
Meatlock looks similar, but
Meatwad looks pretty similar,
still,
but Master Shake looks really different, and Frylock is like completely different.
Yeah, Frylock could not be any more different. It's like, yeah, they just kind of went the opposite direction with the Frylock that they went. Yeah. Master Shake just kind of looks, well, weird and sad, but Frylock just kind of looks like Will Ferrell in a way.
It does a little bit look like Will Ferrell. It's weird.
It's really weird.
He looks like literally like a freaking Happy Meal mascot or something. Like it's very strange. So I'm very glad that they changed his design because it looks so much better in the actual show.
Oh, for sure.
But essentially the show is about the three main characters, so as we mentioned, Master Steak, Frylock, and Meatwad, who are three food-based anthropomorphic foods, I guess you could say. Meatwad is literally a ball of meat that can transform into a hot dog or a igloo.
Kind of whatever he wants.
I think I think it's supposed to be whatever he wants, but he only ever transforms into a hot dog or an igloo, which is like what's in the intro.
Yeah, we also he's pretty dumb.
Yes, yeah. Meatwad is the most childlike of the three. He's he basically has like the intelligence of like a 5-year-old.
However, he does have a PhD in astrophysics or something like that. He has some wacky PhD in a very specialized genius field, but it makes absolutely no sense.
Well, there's one episode, remember, where Frylock takes out Meatwad's brain and puts some stickers on it, and then puts it back in, and the power of mind over matter, Meatwad becomes an ultra genius, and he gets telekinetic powers and stuff, like how smart he is.
Oh yes, that's right.
Yeah. So then there's of course Frylock,
which also tells you that you can be an idiot and get a college degree.
Well, yeah. Well, it's mind over matter.
Yes, most people probably knew that already, but that's besides the point. Some of us already have those degrees and realize that we were dumb enough to get them, and we don't even know how we were able to pass. They may or may not be on this podcast.
So then we have Frylock, who is played off as the straight man to Meatwad and Master Shake, basically.
Yeah, so Master Shake is completely the wild card.
Yeah. Master Shake is a complete, sociopath, lazy, shallow piece of crap person, and he claims to be the leader. So this is when the show first came out, they kind of touted it as the Aqua Teens were this private detective agency, basically, and they actually had some episodes where they actually were trying to solve crimes.
Well, it's the first 3 episodes that they did that because the executives rejected the show. So they, so the creators, Dave Willis and Matt Milaro, or Mayero, I hope I'm not butchering his name, but the two of them, they were trying to figure out how to pitch it to the Cartoon Network executives because there wasn't an Adult Swim yet. So
yeah.
Mike Lazo hadn't taken the reins just yet. He hadn't or not, at least not fully, and they were trying to figure out, well, how do we get the executives to get into our stupid show? And they told them that they were detectives. And for some reason, as we've said on this show, not all executives, but many of them are just fucking idiots. Excuse my French. Should we still use that? That term's kind of racist, honestly. I don't even know what that means. Yeah, I don't even know what that means. I mean, I have met French people that are rude, but...
I guess French people curse a lot or something.
I don't know. I may have to ask my fiancée. She is in the room making a tiramisu. Ooh. Because it was it's my dad's birthday. Everybody who's listening in digital media device land, he turned the big 6-0, and he enjoys tiramisu, especially hers, and also he's fat. So
I mean, everybody enjoys tiramisu.
Yes, but my fat 60-year-old dad truly enjoys it. She's been to Paris, so I might ask her right now. Do people in front? Oh, she has her headphones on. Of course she does. She has no knowledge of what I'm saying at all. I could be saying something horrible, but I'm not. I'm just talking about my fat 60-year-old dad, who enjoys a good tiramisu every now and then. I don't know. Maybe French people curse a lot. I've only met a handful of French people. Some of them were rude. Some of them were very kind. You can probably hear the rustling in the background of ingredients and possibly the scraping of the bowl and the spoon. You've got metal on metal action, and all going into this tiramisu being made. Oh, and there's cookies, and there's espresso from the Cafe Bustelo in the corner. Oh boy. All for my fat 60-year-old dad, who enjoys a good tiramisu. Now, anyway, they were trying to convince these executives to get on there, and we've said before, executives are idiots much of the time. So, of course, the executives were like, oh, well, we don't really want a show about foods because it might encourage children to have poor eating habits, which, if they ever knew what this show was going to be, that was the least of their problems. So first they just pitched them about 20-something times, and they said, no, we don't want shows with fast food in it. And then they said, wait, but they're detectives. That's why they're the Aqua Teen Hunger Force, and they're trying to solve teen hunger. And the executives, as dumb as they were like, oh, we could get behind that. You're greenlit. So that's why for the first 3 episodes, the Aqua Teen Hunger Force is actually trying to solve crimes. And solve crimes. Yeah, okay, good job, Chris. You could tell I went to college. So they're trying to solve these crimes, the first 3 episodes, and then by the 4th episode, Dave Willis and Matt Mayero they were like, all right, well, we've already been on the show for we've already done 3 episodes. They're probably not paying attention to this if they've already let us go as far as we have. So screw this. We're just gonna drop it altogether. And then it just became what it is, which is just stuff happens with fast food that is animate for some reason. No one questions it. They've also changed locations of the show several times from New Jersey to Seattle, Washington to the fictitious place of Seattle, New Jersey.
We should also mention the first episode where is called Rabbit, and basically they're trying to figure out what's crushing, terrorizing the city, and it ends up being a giant robotic rabbit that was unleashed by Dr. Weird. And Dr. Weird is this crazy mad scientist whose lab is on the South Jersey shore.
Of course it is.
Yeah. And most episodes open up with Dr. Weird, doing something, unleashing, and it's always gentlemen behold, and it's some crazy invention or just some crazy thing that he's made. But Rabbit is one of the few episodes where something that he invented actually is interacts with the rest of his sequence is usually completely not related at all to the actual sequence of events that's happening in the Aqua Teen Hunger Force episode. There's only a couple episodes, Rabbit in particular, where he unleashes the rabbit, which causes them to have to go and actually find out what's what it is and stuff.
Right. But, there's a couple of episodes towards the end of the show, the later seasons, where whatever he's done, the implications of that end up being the episode, which, I mean, the episodes are only 10 minutes, so, like, you can only get so far, which this show basically set the template for every Adult Swim show.
Yeah, I think there was also an episode where Frylock, like, has a picture on his, like, bookshelf of, like, him with, like, a younger Dr. Weird, like, Dr. Weird was his mentor or something. So, like, that's one of the only other, like, links to Dr. Weird in the actual show was the fact that he knew Frylock at some point.
Well, that's interesting.
Yeah.
And we also have their crazy next-door neighbor, Carl, who, Carl is just, he's just this fat, middle-aged guy, very much like my dad. And he's very obnoxious. He's a sports fan. He's, like, rude. He doesn't really care. He's a huge slob. Yes. And, like, nobody cares.
Likes prostitutes.
Yes, yes, he does. Hopefully not much like my father. I don't know. That's something that I would like to not know. I don't need to know the nightly routines or hobbies and interests of my dear old dad, who is 60 and will be enjoying a tiramisu. But I don't know.
A whole tiramisu? Just for himself.
Well, I said he was fat.
Huh. Well, that's... I can't blame him. Tiramisu is pretty delicious.
Were you going to say Dr. Weird is pretty delicious?
Dr. Weird is pretty delicious. Dr. Weird makes some delicious tiramisu.
I bet he does. Anyway, so there's always a bunch of crazy crap happening, and Carl is usually, like, indifferent to just about everything that happens. Like, nothing phases this guy, except for, well, the hand banana, which is... There's hand banana. It's basically like, it's kind of like a glove that's alive, but for whatever reason, it's obsessed with raping Carl. And it's just one episode but I think does he come back in a later episode, hand banana? I forget.
Well, there's the episode where, like, all the villains, like, meet up on the moon to, like, well, the villains, quote unquote, because some of them weren't villains, like the mold guy. He was just like, it's like villains in this are, like, hard to say if they're villains or not, because sometimes they don't actually do anything that's, like, bad necessarily.
I mean, there's only a handful of them that, like, actually do anything bad. Like, I mean, all we've really got is, like the main villain, I guess, would be, well, it would be the
Mooninites.
Like, you've got the Mooninites, who are, like, the main antagonists of the show. You also have Dr. Weird, who, like,
he's not really a villain, though. He's just like a
does
weirdo.
Things. He's just a mad scientist.
I would say the Mooninites are the closest thing to the arch nemesis of the Aqua Teens, because they appear in more episodes than any other side characters.
Yes, and they also are villains in the real world too, because the promotion for one of the seasons actually was just they were just like slapping, like, stickers of the Moon Knights all around, like, various cities in the United States. Mm-hmm. And the Boston police thought that it was, like, some kind of, like, a gang code for, like, a bomb threat or something. So, like, so there was a whole, like, thing where, like, the Boston police were investigating the Moon Knights. So, in a way, this is something that you would probably see happen on an episode featuring the Moon Knights of Aqua Teen Hunger Force.
Well, the Mooninites are also voiced by the creators, too.
Yes.
So, it's, you'd say the Mooninites are, like, like, the closest thing to, like, I guess, creator inserts into the show, I guess, because it's voiced by them.
Yes, but long story short, like, actual real Boston police yes. I mean, I guess that speaks to the, that may or may not speak to the intelligence of the Boston police, force.
Well,
up to you. I'm not a legal consultant on this subject. I'm not a consigliere. This is not my legal opinion or my thought of any matter. They may or may not be very intelligent human beings.
I vaguely remember when this happened too. I vaguely remember when this happened, and I remember watching the news, and I was like, "Are you like serious? Like, this is like." I was like, this is the stupidest thing ever. Like, why would they, like, freaking, like, think this is, like, some kind of bomb threat? Like,
there may or may not be an officer with the last name Bar Brady in charge of that squad. But yeah, it's just a very bizarre thing that happened. But Adult Swim basically had to like when they found out that they made a boo boo, to say the least. There was about they of course sued Adult Swim because the police sued Adult Swim because the police made a mistake, and Adult Swim just basically just gave them a bunch of money. They gave them several $1 million, including an additional $1 million that was like, we're sorry, and also they paid another $1 million to cover the investigation costs, where all they had to do was just all they really had to do was talk to somebody's son, probably.
Well, no, it was actually a younger staffer on the mayor,
God.
One of the mayor's young staffers that actually recognized it as the Mooninites.
That's freaking great.
So the actual thing that got they thought was a bomb. It was a picture of the Mooninites. It was almost like a light bright, basically, where it was just like an LED display of the Mooninites giving the middle finger. And so apparently, Massachusetts Attorney General Martha Coakley at the time was quoted as saying that the device had a very sinister appearance.
Oh my God, no!
This is just the biggest failure, and just shows how freaking out of touch the people that run this country are.
But we keep electing them.
Yep.
Why?
Well, that's just good question.
Can anyone normal run for once?
No.
Just once, I'd like to see that, and win. Just
no,
win.
Because here's the thing: the people, normal people, wouldn't You have to be a corrupt person to want that kind of power, and that's why you have to be a pretty crazy person.
Of course.
So that's why no one normal will ever run for any kind of office, because you literally have to be a crazy person to succeed in politics.
You really do. Jesse Ventura said that wrestling may be cutthroat, but there's nothing worse than politics.
Yeah.
And that guy ought to know, despite whether or not his conspiracy theories are as far out there as humanly possible. Which, by the way, my fat dad who enjoys a tiramisu believes completely. In fact, this man was keeping the lights on for Jesse Ventura's conspiracy theory show all those seasons where nothing ever happened.
I think a lot of Jesse Ventura's conspiracy... Look, Jesse Ventura actually, on his conspiracy show, got some executives from Goldman Sachs to admit on a hidden camera that they were the ones that Goldman Sachs is directly responsible for causing the 2008 stock market crash and recession.
Yeah, they probably went to
literally
Morton's
got
and talked
them
about
on
it
camera
right
saying
after.
that.
Yeah, they probably said that to a bunch of people.
Yeah, but it was like a hidden camera thing where they didn't know they were being filmed.
Oh, I'm sure it wasn't the first time.
Oh yeah. So but that was it might have been that was the first time it was publicized when Jesse Ventura publicized it. So there was definitely something behind that.
Well, even a blind squirrel finds a nut every once in a while. That every episode, I have seen that one, but every episode that I was seeing, that I have seen because my dad was watching it in the background somewhere, and while I was watching it in the background, my dad was hanging on Jesse Ventura's every word. Nothing ever happens. They talk about how they're going to do this and how they're going to expose this and all this and that, and then they finally go to an authority figure where they can actually get in to expose everything, and the guy just says, "No, you can't come here," and then that's about it. And then they just kind of turn around, and he's like, "We came really close that time, but we couldn't get in." And it's
what was it they were trying to go to the
this
Bilderberg
was 20 minutes? Yeah, they were trying to go to an underground tunnel or a Bilderberg meeting or what have you, and it's really?
Well, I mean, obviously for TV, it's going to be all pumped up like that, and it's going to just because they want people to watch it.
Yeah, so. But I knew 2 minutes in that they weren't getting in.
Of course.
I just don't understand. But of course, my dad, enjoying his tiramisu at all, was but what if they do get in? And I was like, Dad, they're not getting in. Nobody gets in unless you're invited, and you have to be pretty high up to know what's really going on. So, no, I don't think Jesse Ventura and his team have a prayer at getting in.
Well, Alex Jones tried to get in, too. At one point.
Well,
way before he became a crazy person and and here's the thing, like, Alex Jones, like, really, before he, like, became a crazy person and started saying that, like, the mass shooting at Sandy Hook was fake and stuff, like, he actually was a pretty, like, legit guy, and he exposed, like, he tried to get into the Bilderberg meeting, and he also exposed friggin', like, Bohemian Grove or some point. He, like, snuck onto the property and took all these pictures and,
yes, that
like,
I
videos.
saw. That was pretty wild.
So he was actually a legit guy, but, like, you know, that's, you know, you either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain, I guess.
That's what they say. Anyway, speaking of villains, good segue. Hey, now. The Moon Knights are pretty much... They pretty much are the main villains of the show. They don't they try to do bad stuff, but they actually can't really do much of anything. And once they get on the Earth, they like have regular gravitational pulls, so like they have no powers at all. They're really just sprites that just happen to be flying around on the Earth or come from the moon, but they don't really do anything.
Literally two-dimensional pixelated sprites.
Yes, they're always trying to like do something destructive, but it almost never happens, and usually they can stop them pretty quickly. Some of the worst ones that they actually have is like MCP Pants, who is like this spider demon rapper guy thing who is constantly trying to do horrible things to them, and the Hand Banana who, well, just likes raping Carl for odd reasons. Pants,
he's not really trying to do horrible things to them. He's just trying to summon demons to run a diet pill pyramid scheme or something similar to that.
Oh yes, there's that too. And We've also got other various demons that they encounter and like just random. I mean, the whole show is just totally random. But
yeah, it's the biggest like non sequitur like surrealist humor show that I think Adult Swim probably ever had.
Yes,
like it's completely random what happens. The characters designs are completely random and weird looking.
Yes, like there's the Brood Witch episode where there's
it's one of my favorites.
Yeah, where there's a haunted evil sandwich where whoever eats the sandwich dies, but they have to eat the entire sandwich. And Master Shake is like, he's just getting rid of all of the ingredients that he doesn't like. So therefore he's
tomatoes.
So therefore he's not finishing the sandwich. And I dropped a tiramisu cookie, and now it's ruining my flow. You're ruining my flow! It's a ladyfinger, excuse me.
Well, this is just shows how stupid that Master Shake is too. Is that like so he like after he refuses to eat the sun-dried tomatoes, like the Brood Witch, which is of course is like a haunted sandwich, so there's a disembodied voice that's like telling him about it, and eventually it was like, oh well, when he refuses to eat the sun-dried tomatoes, the Brood Witch is like, oh well, you survived the last temptation of the Brood Witch. Now you win some free brain surgery, and of course then they like remove his brain and then make him eat the friggin' tomatoes, and then he gets killed by the demons. Which
of course. By the way,
and so every episode ends.
They find out about the Brood Witch because Frylock read it in Vogue.
Yeah, in Vogue. Yeah. And
by the way, this is a pretty good
Shake
cookie.
Makes fun of him for having Vogue. He's like, "Yeah, when you order it, you lady." It's just hilarious. Like the writing is just hilarious in this show, and it's one of those shows where like literally at least one character dies at the end of every episode. Pretty much. Usually it's Carl. Sometimes it's Jake. And somebody always dies, but they always come back. Like it's like they like just return the next completely unharmed in the next episode.
Yes, I mean I think my favorite episode is the cybernetic ghost of Christmas Past from the Future.
Yeah,
it's just. It makes no sense, and also Danzig is in it for like no reason. I think it actually is his real voice.
Yeah, it is. It was Danzig. They actually did get Danzig.
That's what I thought.
The show was had a lot of music special guests. Zach Wilde was in an episode.
Yes, he was.
MC Chris, the rapper, plays MCP Pants, so he's been on multiple episodes.
Yeah, they've gotten quite a few people. Actually, I knew a guy that used to work at a skate shop when I was in high school. He was in this LA punk band, and I think they were called Balance of Terror, and they did they were touring. They were on a small label, but like one of the guys lived up the street from Danzig in Hollywood, so he didn't live in like a mansion, he lived in like a normal house. So So like every week, like the little like the kids in town like knew that it was Danzig's house, so they would come to his house and they would watch him take out the garbage, and Danzig would he would be in like full Danzig gimmick while he did this because he knew he had an audience.
Well, he does that. Oh, there's like he's been pictured like buying like cat litter and he's wearing his Danzig like gear. So I think that's just literally how he dresses on a normal basis.
I mean, it might be, but he was like all like puffing out his chest and everything, and he was just like taking out the garbage, and like these kids are just like standing there like, oh my god, it's Danzig, he's taking out the garbage, Danzig's taking out the garbage just like everybody else. Oh my god, he really is one of the guys. It's Danzig throwing out the trash, having a doobie. I don't know if Danzig smokes doobies, but Danzig took out his garbage just like the rest of us, putting on his pants one fishnet studded leg at a time.
Fishnet studded leg.
I don't know what kind of clothes Danzig wears. I also don't go to those stores that he shops at.
He just wears leather pants.
He might. I don't know. I saw him once. He was pretty cool.
I've never seen Danzig.
I've never met him in person. I feel like it'd be one of those things where I would be like, I'm glad I got to see his show, but man, that guy is the weirdest guy ever.
Yeah. He is a weird guy.
Yes, he is. He is from Lodi, New Jersey. So, take that however you may, dear listener in digital media device land.
Schooly D is actually prominently featured in Aqua Teen Hunger Force because not only does he do the theme song, the intro song, he also is the narrator in a lot of episodes.
He also sued them.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, he sued them because he claimed that he had not been paid, like, either on royalties or something, or like for the theme song. He hadn't been paid for the theme song usage, so he had like some ridiculous thing where like he would get all of these subsequent back payments and all of this like all these forward payments when he would every time the show aired or something like that. So like he'd have to get like paid out the nose. They settled in like out of court after a few years for like however much money, but yeah, he sued them for quite a bit for whatever reason. I wasn't there. I'm not his attorney or anything. I'm not even that. I'm not even Scully D. So I don't know what's going on there. But yeah, he had done that. But yes, he is there. He is featured on the show quite a bit. But my favorite episode is the cybernetic ghost of Christmas Past from the Future, and probably one of my favorite characters on the show because it just makes no sense. Like he's basically
thousands
just like
of years ago.
Yes, he's just taking them to like he keeps saying thousands of years ago, but it's just showing like Carl's like horrible childhood where he still looks exactly the same, but he's just a child.
And that's one of my favorites. That's also the Danzig episode too, because Carl sells his house because the ghost of the cybernetic ghost of Christmas Past from the Future is haunting it and causing blood to like run out of the walls, and like his pool turns to blood, and then the sprinklers are blood. So Danzig ends up buying it because he wants the blood.
Yeah, because he's into the house.
Yeah, and then he gets upset when there's not enough blood, so she's like looking. So the cybernetic ghost of Christmas Past starts to hide out at the Aqua Teen's house next door.
Yeah, because Danzig's trying to work him like a dog.
Yeah. He's also one of the more common recurring characters. He's in multiple episodes.
Yes.
Obviously, MCP Pants.
Matt Malero voices cybernetic ghost of Christmas Past from the Future.
Yes. Then there's also Oglethorpe and Emery, who are the two spiky aliens from Pluto. And they often clash with the Mooninites. They actually, for when they stopped, they always had the intro thing, which was something different that was going on. So for a while it was Dr. Weird, but then in later seasons it became, Space Kataz or something it was called. And it was like literally just the story of like Oglethorpe and Emery and like them versus the Mooninites, basically. And like all the shit that would happen in space, like, and they would like freaking prank each other and do all this crazy crap.
I feel like they could have done like I feel like they could have done like a spin-off of that if they wanted to.
Yeah, they could have done a full spin-off of that. That would have been probably great.
Yeah, it probably wouldn't have lasted as long as the show, which Aqua Teen lasted a total of 139 episodes. One of them was unaired, which spanned 11 seasons. But the episode that didn't air was it's called Boston, and it's actually like about the whole like Boston LED Moonanites incident. But like the executives chose not to air it, even though like the episode ended up it made its way to the internet somehow, like everything does. I haven't seen it, but apparently it's very tame and it's really not that bad at all.
Yeah,
especially compared to like how much other crazy crap happens on Aqua Teen. But there's also a movie.
Yes. Well, before we get on to the movie, I actually just read Space Kataz was actually an unaired spin-off that they wanted to create.
Oh, really?
There was 6 episodes planned for production, but it didn't go through. Adult Swim didn't pick it up, so they decided to just make it as the cold openings for Aqua Teen Hunger Force.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. Also, when Aqua Teen ended up... so Aqua Teen Hunger Force was canceled in 2015. And at the time, it was Adult Swim's longest-running original series.
Is it still?
So that's pretty impressive. I think it still is. I think so. I want to say it is.
Okay. I mean, the decision for the show to end was not the creators, by the way. It was actually it was Mike Lazo who just felt like it just needed to end. Like he was just kind of bored of it, and he was like, "All right, we need to make room for newer productions." But if it was up to the creators, they said that they would never find out that they just would never stop the show,
which is kind of dumb because I haven't watched Adult Swim in a long time, but as far as I know, Adult Swim is mostly just anime now. I don't think there's really any original programming left. I mean, I could be wrong about that. Like I said, I haven't watched Adult Swim in a long time.
There's still a couple that pop up. I mean, I don't watch it religiously.
And Mike Lazo's not even the head of the of Adult Swim anymore. He apparently retired.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Huh. So I don't know. But hopefully it's not some suit that doesn't know what the hell they're doing, although chances are it is. But every now and then I see something that's fairly new. I don't really know how new they are. But I know, the most recent thing that I watched was Your Pretty Face is Going to Hell, but I'm not really... I don't know how, recent or old that show is. I mean, the last time that I was really watching it religiously was maybe, the second or third season of Metal... Probably, the third or fourth season of Metalocalypse, and then, every now and then I would just, pop it on, but I wasn't, watching Adult Swim every single night. And now, thankfully, we have the Adult Swim app, which you can... you could pretty much watch a little bit of everything on there. I was watching it today and I didn't see the complete run of Aqua Teen, but there are some shows like Soul of the Moment, which we are going to be getting to in a few weeks.
So the Adult Swim app does not have the full. Well, I don't know about if you pay for it, but the free version does not have the full Aqua Teen Hunger Force.
I bet you get everything if you pay for it.
Yeah, it has broken up. You can watch some episodes. It's not the full season, but you can watch a few episodes from each season, basically.
It's usually the ones that are the most popular anyway.
Yeah. I think though, because I know that Adult Swim, I think, partnered with HBO Max at some point, so there might be it might be available on HBO Max.
There's some things
HBO Max has a lot of other Cartoon Network shows. They have Cowardly Dog and Ed, Edd n Eddy and stuff. So
yeah, there's a few things on there that you could see, but I don't know if everything is on there. But as we said before, there is a movie of Aqua Teen Hunger Force.
Yes.
It is the Aqua Teen Hunger Force : movie film, I believe is the name.
Hold on, it's the Aqua Teen Hunger Force : movie film for theaters.
That's great.
Is the full title.
I've never seen the whole thing. I've seen bits and pieces. It Robot Chicken is actually the longest running Adult Swim series.
Okay,
How did we not
so at
know
the time, Aqua Teen was, and then Robot Chicken, I think, overtook it because it continued on past when Aqua Teen was ended.
How did we not know this? We probably do know this.
We did know this.
Forgot.
I think we mentioned this on the Robot Chicken episode.
We definitely did.
But at the time, before
we went to
the
college.
Robot Chicken episode.
Yes, you could tell we went to college.
I've seen the movie. I saw it when they actually aired it on Adult Swim for April Fools, I think, in 2007, I want to say. Or 2008. I don't remember exactly the year. So I did watch it. I don't remember
2007, you're right.
Yeah, okay, so I basically don't remember any of it because it was it was late at night and I was pretty tired when I was watching it. And I probably fell asleep watching it. But I remember it basically being just a long episode of Aqua Teen Hunger Force, essentially.
Yeah, I haven't seen the whole thing. I've only seen little snippets. I mean, the most memorable thing is the intro that Mastodon did.
Yeah.
Just because they did it. I don't know. But Mastodon also has played the Adult Swim Fest, which they started doing a few years ago, and it's actually really fun and cool. I mean, personally, I really have grown to love Mastodon. They're actually one of my favorite bands now. And I want to see them later this year when they play with Ghost. I have yet to see Mastodon headline. I've only seen them as bridesmaids. I've never seen them as the bride, unfortunately.
I've seen them. I saw them that one Mayhem Fest that was the best Mayhem Fest ever. It had the best lineup.
Nice.
It was Mastodon was on it along with Rob Zombie and Children of Bodom and Huntress. It was a really stacked card for a Mayhem Fest.
Wow, half of those bands that you just mentioned, the main person is dead and they don't exist anymore.
Yeah.
That's sad.
It is sad.
But yeah, not to take anything away from that. I've seen Mastodon. I've seen them twice. I saw them in Central Park for free. Because there was just a summer series thing that Metal Sucks and a bunch of other things were sponsoring.
Uh-huh.
That was pretty freaking awesome. It was them and Clutch, and there was this other band from Sweden called Graveyard that was pretty damn cool. They were a southern blues band. You did not expect what they were going to do, but they were ridiculous. Mastodon. Before that. I had liked Mastodon. I hadn't really fully committed to them. I had listened to a couple of albums and I liked them. But after that, I was I could not believe that I had been missing this the whole time. I think once Mastodon started getting very, very proggy, that was when they started getting that was when that's the stuff that I really enjoy. Their earlier stuff is good, but once they really get out there, I love everything that they do now. I also saw them with Primus in Coney Island, and that was freaking cool too. But yeah, I would like to see them headline. But they did the opening sequence for Aqua Teen Hunger Force : movie film for theaters, and it's freaking hilarious. It's just it's the popcorn and movie theater snacks that just start doing a whole metal thing, and King Diamond makes a very brief appearance as the singer for that track for a moment. It's only about 2 minutes, but it's freaking hilarious, and they'll cut you up with a linoleum knife. There we go. It's very funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've only seen bits and pieces of that movie. It's very weird. I don't remember a whole lot. I haven't seen the whole thing, and I do plan to eventually watch the whole thing. Although I'm not sure if I would remember any of it immediately after. But hey, what the hell? Yeah. I will get a chance to do it at some point. But they ran the movie in a very tiny box before the movie debuted in the bottom left hand corner, and the movie was muted. while Adult Swim's regular programming aired on the rest of the TV screen. So, like, you could watch the movie, but you had no idea what was going on, if you could even see anything at all. So, of course, they did that on April Fool's Day, and it's freaking hilarious. Because, of course, Adult Swim would do something like this. But as I don't even know if there's really anything else to say at this point about Aqua Teen Hunger Force.
Oh, so then...
Well, actually, no, there is something.
I could have sworn they did actually, like, show the movie at one point.
They did eventually run the entire movie on...
Yeah.
Like, on it. I think you can actually watch the movie on the Adult Swim app for free, but I'm not totally sure. But they have eventually run the entire movie on regular programming.
Yeah.
But at first they promised to, like, we'll do it before the movie debut or whatever, and then, like, they do, like, they air the remainder on the very tiny box of the movie. But, so, like, I want to say one interesting thing about this show, because, like, Master Shake, he's a lot of people's favorite characters, but also, like, his voice is very distinct. He is voiced by Dana Snyder, who like got the gig completely by accident. So the wacky backstory of this show is of Dana Snyder and how he became Master Shake. So somebody else had auditioned for Master Shake, and he was pretty close to getting the role, and he had made him sound like Christopher Walken. And this was like the guy that they were thinking about going with, and I believe Dave Willis was talking to Dana Snyder, and he was like, "Dude, you should audition for this. Like, here you go." Or he like saw the audition, he was like, "All right, I'll do it." But he was out like drinking with a friend of his, Dana Snyder, and he got drunk and he forgot that he was supposed to do it, and then like he remembered at whatever time or when he got home or whatever, and it was late. So he was like, "Oh crap, I gotta do this thing." So like he sent the audition in like as a drunken voicemail to Dave Willis, and Dave Willis like thought that it was perfect. So he like went to go show it to his boss, but before he could do that, he accidentally deleted the voicemail. So he called Dana Snyder, and he was like, "I need you to do that voice. I need you to do the voice again. I need you to do the performance again." And he was like, "Okay." So he like did it sober, and it wasn't the same. So he was like, "No." He's like, "What happened to the thing that you gave me?" And he was like, "I don't know. I was freaking drunk." And he was like, "Oh, well, you have to get drunk again." So Dave Willis goes out with Dana Snyder, and he makes him get wasted again. And at 3:00 in the morning, he's doing the audition via voicemail again. And Dave Willis gives it to his boss, and his boss is like, "Oh yeah, this is the guy." And so that's how he got the freaking gig.
Hilarious.
So sometimes if things are meant to be, things are meant to be. But it's just freaking hysterical how somebody's able to do that. That's like something that that my dad would do, but he wouldn't get the part because, well, he's my dad, so of course he wouldn't. But he would tell the story forever about how he blew it because he was drunk, or how the system was rigged against him from the first place, or he would have a conspiracy theory about some guy at his job that he really can't stand that has nothing to do with any of this, but somehow it will be this guy's fault. This person that he met 20 years after the fact, somehow everything is going to be this guy's fault. Am I hitting a note, Dad? I am going to tell my dad to listen to this, by the way. And I'm going to make sure that he does it in front of his friends. He doesn't have friends, but for the sake of this episode, he has friends. So he's probably going to sit down with his tiramisu and cry while listening to this show. Happy birthday, Dad!
Jesus.
Yeah, I don't have issues at all. I'm not in therapy right now. That part's actually true. But maybe I should be. This would be great if BetterHelp was sponsoring the show. But unfortunately, we don't have any sponsors. If you have a product that nobody will touch, pitch it over to us.
And we'll sponsor.
Yes, sponsor our show and give us cold hard cash. Preferably 10s and 20s, but possibly hundreds. Or $1,000 bills if you can find them. Hell,
just give me a 10-pound sack of 20s.
Why not? And while you're at it, give us some give us some tax advice on getting someplace in the Cayman Islands, will you? All right, I'm not sure how much we got left to talk about this show. It's friggin' hilarious. It set the template for every Adult Swim show. 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Make it random. Make it hilarious. Do whatever you want. We don't care. The only people who are going to watch this at 2 o'clock in the morning are going to be high or drunk anyway. And so it won't even make a difference. They're not going to remember what the hell they saw. But it's just going to be on in college dorm rooms. So just do whatever you want for 10 minutes.
That was William Street. That was what they did.
Yep, the pride and joy of William Street. But yeah, I guess that's it.
Yeah. Go watch it. It's a great show.
Yes, go watch Aqua Teen Hunger Force. Have fun. Let us know what you think of the show. Let us know if you hate the show. Just tell us on YouTube or send us over to or send us an email over at Why Does This Exist? Or if you want to give us $1, you can tell us on Patreon, and you can hop into the Discord server, and you can physically tell us, yeah, this show friggin' sucks, or hey man, my favorite show is Aqua Teen Hunger Force. I'm so happy you got to talk about it. Realistically, they'll probably say, Chris, I'm a therapist, and I strongly suggest that you work out your issues with your father before it's too late. You said he was fat, so there may not be much time. Also, I bet you it's a sweet frickin' tiramisu. It is. What therapist who is going to join our Patreon? It is. All right, but that's been Aqua Teen Hunger Force. That's also been Why Does This Exist? Thank you for listening. Thank you for being here and enjoying our show and supporting us for longer than a year. We're 60 episodes in. My God, we are more than is this 61? It might be 61. This might be the Mickey Mantle number. This might be 61. I don't know. But thank you very much for listening to our episodes and really just, we really appreciate it, and like that we could come here once a week and we could just say a bunch of stupid things and you have to sit there and take it. We really appreciate you giving us that time and wasting all of yours. Thank you so much. But this has been Why Does This Exist? I've been Chris.
And I've been Rob.
And remember, question everything. Happy birthday, Dad. Happy birthday, Dad.
Happy birthday.
Hope you enjoy the tiramisu and the Paul O'Neill book and the gift card. Okay.
And Jesse Ventura.
And Jesse Ventura's conspiracy theories. P.S. You're 60. Bye.